Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. Of course, it is Monday, so we are using a brand new team. After trying out Mega Lopunny last week, we are moving on to a new Mega Evolution, which I have not used very much this year, but one of my favorite Mega Evolutions, and by far my favorite by the end of the VGC 2014 season, Mega Mawile. This team was actually built by one of my best friends, Jonathan Rankin. You can give him a follow at JRankJustJRank. He's a fantastic player, almost made it to Worlds last year, won a regional championship in 2012, top cut US Nationals last year, and finished, I believe, in the top 12 or so. And finished at the top 8 at St. Louis Regionals, where he actually used this team. So I'm pretty excited to be featuring it because I think it has a lot of cool tricks on its side, and I tried it out on a bunch of games last night for practice, and it really worked out well. This team is actually posted on his blog, so if you want to read more about it, you can definitely give that a go. In addition, the Mega Lopunny team analysis should be up later today. I do have to apologize, this episode and yesterday's episode went up a bit later than I was hoping for it to, and in addition, I've been a bit behind schedule. That's because, I don't know, I've been really busy this past weekend, and I just don't want too much, what I do on YouTube to interfere with everything outside of YouTube, but hope you guys don't mind, and I hope to be back on schedule basically by the end of today. Of course, tomorrow will be another episode of Road to Ranked and Trainer Tip Tuesday, which you guys really enjoyed last week. So thanks for all the support, and as always, if you enjoyed Road to Rank, please just leave a like on this video. It would really mean a lot to me, and I would appreciate it. Anyway, let's jump into the ladder. As you see, my rating's actually already at 1891. I did play a bunch of games with this team, and it is pretty fantastic, so I'm hoping the practice can translate over, because 2 wins today would easily carry us over 1900. Not going to be an easy route there because our first opponent of the day is going to be a 1909 rated player from Japan with a team that looks very familiar. I think we already faced this exact team on Road to Rank, though I'm not sure if it's the same player. Kangaskhan, Zapdos, Breloom, Heatran, Cresselia, and Landorus T. So, standard looking team, but it's got a lot of options because Breloom. So used to seeing a grass type like in Spore, Amoonguss, and I just immediately associate it with Amoonguss. But no, Breloom, a more offensive version of Amoonguss, though they have they do completely different things. Which is it's definitely scarier to see that just because of the fast Spore it gets, whereas Talonflame can knock out Amoonguss. For those wondering about this team, it's actually got a lot of interesting sets that I'll go into a bit later after I decide what I want to pick here. This is a tough call. I do like leading with Landorus here. I don't know, it doesn't look like my opponent has many options to really stop it. Yeah, it just guarantees an Intimidate off, and then I can Earthquake or Rock Slide right away. Though, I don't know, I don't want to lead into Cresselia, I guess. That Cresselia is really scaring me right now. Though, actually, I like Hydreigon Landorus a lot here, just because Hydreigon puts immense pressure onto that Cresselia right away. I do kind of want Rotom Wash here to hit the Heatran and the Landorus T. And Rotom Wash here also blocks Zapdos's really damage output. I don't know, Virizion here is really tempting for the Kangaskhan Heatran. I wonder if my opponent's even going to end up bringing Kangaskhan, though you would think he would. I don't know, Talonflame here to beat the Breloom would be kind of nice. So I'm very tempted to go with it. This is so hard. Yeah, I'm going to go with Rotom Wash. It's a bulkier call. So the last one is, do I go with Virizion, which is... Virizion can take Spores well also and can close combat for knockouts. And can Stone Edge. So I guess I'm leaving Mawile out of this one. Yeah, so, as we get into this battle, I think a couple things to note about John's team is, first of all, the Mawile is not very bulky. It's actually really, really offensive with a lot of speed EVs because John's Talonflame is actually Tailwind, Will-O-Wisp, Brave Bird, and Overheat with safety goggles, which is obviously quite different from the conventional Talonflame set you see out there. And it's because, the Life Orb is taken up on this team, I believe. Actually, is it? I don't even remember. Because I'm actually leading with two of my choice users here in Choice Band Landorus and Choice Specs Hydreigon. So I do get the Intimidate off against both of these physical type attackers. My Intimidate actually goes first, which means that my opponent's Landorus is not Choice Scarfed. So that's good to note right away. But let's see. Right, I have the Life Orb on Virizion. So this is a really offensive team, and I don't know, Mawile doesn't seem like it can fit too well here just because it can't really switch into attacks from my opponent's end, which is why I actually opted not to bring it. Now this first turn is a bit interesting. I could switch out immediately into Rotom Wash. Let's see. I think it's more important to knock out my opponent's Landorus. It's intimidated, so I can just get a Draco off. What I could just do here is Draco, the Landorus, and Superpower Kangaskhan. Because Kangaskhan can only fake out one Pokemon. So, I'm going to go for that play. just try to use my choice users and pick up some damage right away. No switches from my opponent's end, so we'll see how this plays out. It is a very aggressive turn, but John's team is very offensive, though still allowing you to play a bit defensively with switches because of the typing. Kangaskhan does go for the fake out, targeting the Hydreigon. Smart move there. So that's going to do some damage, obviously. As I am going to get a Choice Band superpower off. Of course, I am intimidated, but let's see if we can knock out this Mega Kangaskhan. Barely misses out on the knockout. I don't actually know the damage roll there, as his Landorus is also going to go for a superpower onto my Hydreigon. That's probably going to KO me. Yeah. So I could have... Oh, actually with the crit, I'm not sure if it would have KO'd without the crit there. But it is what it is. So... yeah, I mean, losing Hydreigon here is pretty bad, because it was actually my best answer to deal with the Cresselia. So, I don't know if that was the best of idea, because if my opponent has Cresselia in the back, I might be in some trouble. And it does make sense why my opponent aggressively targeted it down there. But, no matter. Let's see. So, Virizion outspeeds the Kangaskhan here, which is great. So, I do have to try to predict what's coming in here. I want to Leaf Blade, I think. I'm going to Leaf Blade, and I'm going to switch Landorus out into Rotom Wash, because Landorus is not doing very much right now, as we're probably going to see my opponent's Landorus switch out as well. Right now, the main thing is figuring out what my opponent's back to. We are going to see Kangaskhan switch out, so let's see what's coming in here. It's going to be the Zapdos. Okay, so I could have Stone Edged that slot, but I didn't want to risk the miss there. But that's fine. I'll get some free damage off. I might actually put it in Stone Edge KO range, as I'm going to bring in Rotom Wash here. So lots of switches as the Landorus actually switches out as well. So the last one's actually going to be a Heatran for my opponent, which I'm actually very happy to see due to how well Virizion can beat that Heatran. So I get a Leaf Blade off against Zapdos. That's obviously not going to do very much, but Stone Edge should be able to pick up the knockout in this range, as I actually do get a crit there. Losing some HP. Does not have Rocky Helmet, I think. So what I could do here is just Stone Edge Hydro Pump, but the main issue with that is if I do, then my opponent can just knock me out. I mean, I could also close combat Heatran for the KO and just attack Zapdos with like a Thunderbolt. But I don't know. I think right now the play I'm predicting for my opponent is a Protect from the Heatran and a Tailwind. That's what makes the most sense to me. I mean, you don't want that Heatran to faint from a close combat. So I think I'm just going to go for the Stone Edge here, and I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump. Oh, he doesn't Protect. Okay, good play there. So Stone Edge knocks out Zapdos, but I'm probably going to lose Virizion here, and that's not good. I was predicting a Protect, unless the Heatran misses its Fire-type attack or goes for a substitute. Oh, but nope, it's just going to go straight for the Heat Wave, so nice play by my opponent there. That's going to knock out Virizion. Hydro Pump should do a lot of damage to Heatran here. Hopefully it does not miss. I guess Thunder Wave might have been a better play there, just to get the speed boost. It's actually Life Orb. Interesting. Hydro Pump does connect with Heatran. Let's see how much damage this does. Almost knocks it out. Looks like it might be in KO range from its own Life Orb Recoil. So I'm going to bring in my own Landorus. This is a very fast but close game so far. So you do see how offensive this team is. And I guess I could have played the first turn better by switching out into Rotom Wash, but I just didn't want to take too much damage in that slot. But in retrospect, it would have been a good switch, since losing Hydreigon was pretty bad. Though it's not like Hydreigon actually would have helped very much in this match, given that my opponent didn't bring Cresselia. So this is going to be an interesting finish to the game, because I'm going to bring in Landorus. My opponent is going to bring in his Landorus as well, and this is why I think it's a bit interesting. Because we're going to intimidate each other here. So that Heatran's still in KO range for my Landorus. And you know, that Landorus can't do very much to a Rotom Wash. So, I mean, I could just Rock Slide here and Hydro Pump. Now, the main issue is I don't have Protect with either of my Pokemon, so dealing with that Kangaskhan is going to be a bit annoying. But I am just going to go for the Rock Slide Hydro Pump this play, or this turn. And since I am Choice Banded, I think even if the Heatran switches out to Kang, it might be knocked out by this Rock Slide. But this is going to be very intense. And I'm actually glad that my opponent brought in Landorus here instead of the Kangaskhan, just because Kangaskhan would have been able to get a Fake Out off. My opponent probably doesn't know I'm not carrying Protect on my Pokemon, especially that Rotom Wash. But yeah, I mean, good turn by my opponent there. It was very offensive, you know, predicting I might have had Stone Edge, targeting Zapdos down, going straight for the attack with Heatran, and it definitely paid out. He's not going to switch out with either, so I'm just going to be able to pick up the KO with Heatran here on Rock Slide. If Hydro Pump hits here, I might just basically end up winning. He does get a Rock Slide off, though, so I'm really, I don't know, my chance of hitting this Hydro aren't very high, honestly. Hydro misses the Landorus! Oh, that is so heartbreaking. As Kang's gonna come back in. But it's still not over yet. So I'm gonna Rock Slide here. And I'm gonna Thunderbolt the Kangaskhan. Because once Kangaskhan goes down, that Landorus is stuck Rock Sliding. So hitting Hydro would have been really nice there, but, you know, the chance of hitting a Hydro Pump through a Rock Slide is relatively slim, though I guess I had the flinch factor on my end as well. Looks like my Landorus is faster than my opponent's, though, given that it outsped both the first turn and this turn, though of course that is still a 25% chance if we do speed tie. But the Intimidated activated before both times as well, so I'd have to assume I'm faster here, which is really important. Kang's actually going to go straight for the double edge. Who does it target? It's going to target my Landorus here. Does it knock it out? It does knock it out. So yeah, Kangaskhan's probably going to faint to its own recoil. It's going to come down to whether Landorus can flinch me to death, basically. Of course, it is single target now, but it is Intimidated as well. Alright, so let's see. This first Rock Slide. Obviously, Thunderbolt's not going to do anything this turn, but I still have that Citrus Berry. 106 down to 77 HP. So I'm taking these attacks relatively well, but the flinch factor is pretty huge here, as Thunderbolt's not going to do anything. Great double edge from my opponent there, knowing that he had no way to really deal with that Landorus. This is going to be a dicey finish to the game. Rock Slide comes out yet, so I mean, let's see, 116 down to 989. Hydro Pump connects. Will it be able to knock it out? Even if not, I'm really glad I hit that one, as it falls, becomes a bit short. So I need to hit one more Hydro Pump through a barrage of Rock Slides, and I only have 5 PP left. If my opponent misses one in any chance too, that would be great, but let's see. Okay, there's an avoid. 4 more to go. I think I can take 3 more Rock Slides, or actually 2 more. Oh man, this is close. 63 down to 36. Hydro Pump. Yes, connects. Oh my gosh. We are going to be able to pull out a win in the first game of today's episode, and with that, our rating jumps over 1900. What an intense game, though. I mean, that was really fast-paced, but just quite intense, quite intense. A good game to my opponent there. I mean, like, the offensive pressure in that game was just so huge. That superpower ended up really helping out that first turn, so, you know, I can't complain, because it forced my opponent to knock himself out there. I'm sure a bunch of you are wondering, like, why didn't you go for the Confused Ray play? It actually might have been a bit better now that I think about it. I think I should have Confused Rayed the first turn just to give my opponent the 50% chance of hitting himself in confusion. So I think probability-wise, yeah, that probably would have been a better play instead of just trying to hit the Hydros, but I just wanted the win there. But that is a mistake that most players, including myself, make, going for the the quick win instead of the better odds win sometimes in the end. But I'm not going to complain, as we are going to be able to pick up a win there, a huge, huge one against a pretty offensive team. So we're just going to jump back into the ladder, as our rating now is 1908, so we finally reached over the 1900 barrier once again. I think there's actually only a week left in this season, so it'd be really neat if we could hit 2000 in this last week, but we'll see what we can do. But I'm loving John's team. That was a really fun and fast-paced game. I mean, you can see how offensive it is. Choice Ban Landorus, Choice Specs Hydreigon, as Bid C from Japan with a rating of 1970 is going to be our next opponent of the day. So a win here would probably put us at like 1925, which would be nuts. But we see a team of Whimsicott, Terrakion, Cresselia, Charizard, Aegislash, and a Milotic. So, I don't know, I mean, you can kind of expect what's coming the way here. Tailwind potential with the Whimsicott, of course. Terracotta, meaning Whimsicott can use Beat Up to increase Terrakion's attack through its ability Justified, giving it a +4 attack boost. You know, one of the most popular combos in VGC 2011, still around nowadays. So I am going to have to watch out for that, and it's clever of my opponent to have Milotic on the team, because otherwise Landorus would be just a fantastic Pokemon to lead with here. I actually think I played my Bid C yesterday, and I think he just surrendered after the first turn, because he went for a beat-up play onto the Terrakion, and then my Virizion just outsped. But I don't know if this is the same opponent. Like, Virizion's not a bad lead here at all. I actually really like Virizion Talonflame, just because I can set up Tailwind. And Virizion's a really good Pokemon to beat that Milotic. Now, the Aegislash is kind of scary here. I think I'm going to have to bring Hydreigon. It does beat Cresselia and Aegislash, so I don't mind bringing those two. And once again, I'm not sure if I really want to bring Mawile here. I don't know, just going up against these fire types, especially like Charizard, is kind of scaring me off. Rotom Wash wouldn't be bad here, though I'm leaning more towards Landorus this time around, just because of how well it can beat Terrakion. So the question is, do I value the offense a bit more? I mean, Landorus can also just Rock Slide, which is valuable to me. So this is a kind of tough call to make. I think I'm going to go with, I don't know, Rotom Wash was really helpful that last game. Actually, I don't know, it's not like my opponent has great ways to effectively deal with Rotom Wash, other than Charizard, which, well, then I don't have great ways to beat Charizard, because it can Solar Beam Rotom Wash. I'm gonna go with Landorus here. I'm going to go for the more offense, and we'll see how it plays. So, we're going to go up against a very highly rated player here. A win would be great. I would love to start the week off 2-0. Especially because with the Mega Lopunny team, it was like 1-1s most of the times. I think we actually finished it with exactly a record of 7-7, so hoping this team does a bit better, but I think it's a fantastically built team from John's end. We see Terrakion and Milotic for my opponent as I go with Virizion and Talonflame. This is a really solid lead matchup for me. What I could do is actually immediately sacrifice the Talonflame by setting up a Tailwind. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to definitely Tailwind. I'm going to just go for the Leaf Blade onto Milotic and go for the Tailwind. Leaf Blade should knock out the Milotic given that I have a Life Orb. So worst case scenario, the Terrakion goes for a Rock Slide. I don't know if Terrakion even wants a Rock Slide here because it might be potentially fearing a Grass type attack from the Virizion. But most importantly, the Terrakion can't knock out my Virizion here. So I lose Talonflame, but I get a Tailwind up as a result. And I think Tailwind's pretty important to have against my opponent because it allows my Landorus and Hydreigon to outspeed the Terrakion. Also means that I don't Speed Tie with it with my Virizion, just because the Speed Ties are a bit annoying to deal with. But let's see how this plays out. There's not much my opponent can do to stop this Tailwind, though. He's actually going to switch out the Terrakion, which is fantastic news for me, as I think it's, I didn't even say what Pokemon I thought was coming in there, but it is going to be that Whimsicott. So I do get a free Tailwind up, which is really good. Now let's see how much this Leaf Blade does. Maybe it won't knock it out, but I don't think the Milotic can knock either of mine out. And it, yeah, just falls short of the knockout, which is a bit unfortunate, so even with that Life Orb. It's going to proc its Citrus Berry. And I suspect we're going to see an Icy Wind here, maybe an Ice Beam into Virizion, maybe a Scald. But it is going to be that Icy Wind. I do not mind, taking an Icy Wind at all, given that I have a Tailwind up for free. And Talonflame, of course, with Gale Wings, actually still is able to attack first no matter what. So I am perfectly content with how that last turn played out. So what I'm going to do here is, Milotic is a bigger threat right now. So I'm just going to Leaf Blade into the Milotic and go for a Brave Bird onto the Whimsicott. I don't know, I think that first turn played out like as perfectly as I could have asked. I guess if it, Leaf Blade knocked out the Milotic there, I would be really, really confident about this match. Regardless, I'm going to get this Brave Bird off, so that's going to bring the Whimsicott to its Focus Sash. Yep. Which I'm fine with. I suspect Whimsicott's going to go for a Tailwind here, but let's see. Yep, it does go for the Tailwind, but I'm going to be able to pick up the KO onto Milotic here with the Leaf Blade. So, really good first two turns here. As, yeah, I mean, I can't really complain about how they've played out. So I'm going to knock out the Milotic there, which is great because that was probably the Pokemon I fear the most with the Landorus T I had in the back, just because, you don't want to walk into a competitive boost. But the thing is, Terrakion can come out now, and that Whimsicott can just go for the beat up onto it, which is, of course, a bit scary. So we do have Tailwinds that match now, and that's obviously a bit intimidating. Though, actually, my opponent's going to end up bringing Charizard here. Interesting. A switch that makes sense, though, for sure. But I'm glad to see Charizard. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out into Hydreigon. And I'm just going to go for the Brave Bird into Whimsicott. Yeah. And the reason why I'm switching out into Hydreigon here is because I want to reset that Intimidate onto Virizion and, not the Intimidate, the Icy Wind decrease. Because that means in the late game, my Virizion outspeeds my opponent's Charizard. So what I can do is just outspeed and KO it with Stone Edge. And I'll be able to intimidate the Landorus or the Terrakion as well. It's going to be a tight finish to the game for sure, because no doubt in my mind I'm going to be taking a Heat Wave here, as Charizard does set up the drought, but there's not much Whimsicott can do in its position. Oh, wow, it actually goes for a Protect. Not a move I was sure whether it was carrying or not, but a good one at that. So Brave Bird's obviously not going to do anything here. We are going to see a Heat Wave come out from Charizard. I don't know if it's going to be enough to knock out this Talonflame. Let's see. It is going to be enough, though. That's bad, as I'm going to lose Talonflame here. However, it's actually not too terrible, because what this means is I just get a free switch him back into my Virizion, to which I can just Stone Edge the Charizard, since I am faster now, given that we both have Tailwind up. Though the best play for my opponent here is to protect with that Charizard and go for maybe an attack with the Whimsicott. But I'm just going to Dark Pulse. Actually, at this rate, no, Dark Pulse is still fine. Yeah. And I'll Stone Edge the Charizard. If my opponent doesn't protect with that Charizard, Stone Edge connects, I am 100% confident of winning this game. Though I guess actually Whimsicott can still go for beat up plays with that Terrakion on the back. Oh, we actually see the... Oh man, like I should have Earth Powered that slot. That was bad. That was such an obvious switch out. But Stone Edge hits. Okay. Oh, sweet. But I just gave that a justified boost. I should have went for the Earth Power. That was such an obvious switch. Ugh. There was no yeah, I don't know why I went for the Dark Pulse. I was like, hey, that's alright. That's a good play. Bad idea. Tailwind Peter's out from my end. This is going to be interesting. I should have Earth Powered there. Ah! I'm kicking myself right there, because that almost worked out perfectly. If I just Earth Powered, I would be perfectly fine right now. I think what my opponent's got to do here is go for the beat-up play. I don't think a +4 Rock Slide can knock out Virizion. Actually, I mean, but the thing is, Landorus can just... If it's at +5, I think it will knock me out. Oh, this is so intense. I'm kicking myself right now for not Earth Powering there. I'm not sure if Earth Power could have KO'd, but it would have been much better than going for the Dark Pulse. I can't believe I walked into that one. Good play by my opponent there. It shows why he's so highly rated. So let's see, one last turn of Tailwind. Yeah, I'll switch into Landorus and go for the Leaf Blade. Though my opponent might be smart enough here and just close combat the Virizion. Actually, yeah, that's what my opponent's gonna go for. I don't know what I just did. Unless he went for the beat-up Rock Slide play, maybe. We do see the beat-up come out. So it's gonna be at +4 after the... Actually, wait, hold up. No, I believe only... what am I saying? I think because I knocked out the 2 Pokemon there, it's only going to get a +2 boost here. Yeah. But what did it go for? That's a question. Rock Slide, okay, so as long as I don't flinch here, I win. Oh, wow. I didn't think that would KO, but maybe... Is it Bandit? It's Life Orb, that's why. I don't think it would have knocked me out without that Life Orb there. Wow, what a clutch item for my opponent to have. Nicely done. Nicely done. So I messed up by not Earth Powering that Terrakion slot. Like, oh, man. I am so frustrated. I even said to myself, like, no, it's perfectly fine going for a Dark Pulse here. So what a bad misplay on my end. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to Earth Power. I mean, I'm banking off him missing right now. If he misses, I win. But I'm just going to Earth Power EQ here. As he actually goes for the Protect. Okay. What does Whimsicott go for? The Tailwind. Yeah, so it's going to come down to whether he can, if I can avoid a Rock Slide. If I avoid, I win. If I don't, then I lose. It's basically as simple as that. Of course, the chance of Rock Slide hitting is 90% on one Pokemon, so hitting both is 81%, and so I have a 19% chance of winning this game right now. As actually, yeah, I mean, +2 Rock Slide should knock out that Hydreigon with the Life Orb. Great item choice there. I mean, it's like with Terrakion, you normally have Lumberry, Focus Sash, or Life Orb. You can't have the Focus Sash because Whimsicott almost definitely needs it. Really wish I was Scarf Landorus here. Maybe my opponent doesn't know that, but Scarf Landorus would have won me this game. Here we go. Oh, Rock Slide's going to connect with both. Yeah, there's no way Hydreigon can hang on here. Yeah, it's going to be game. Well played. I am kicking myself for not Earth Powering that slot. If I just Earth Powered, I would have won there, I think. Because with that Life Orb recoil, it surely would have added up. And I really didn't think Rock Slide would have knocked out the Virizion there, so it really caught me off guard. But, yeah. Well played by my opponent for sure. That Life Orb, I think. Actually, I don't know if it would have knocked me out even without the Life Orb, because it would have been doing neutral damage. I don't know. I might actually run the damage calc after this game, but two really fantastic games in today's episode. I should have predicted a bit better that turn against the Whimsicott, since I knew the only Pokemon in the back was the Terrakion, but I guess I was afraid of getting locked into Earth Power when my opponent had Charizard Y, but that makes no sense given that I had a Virizion out, so not the smartest of decisions there, and in the end I am going to get punished for it, but my opponent found the win condition and went for it. So we're going to split today's episode 1-1, but they were two really great games, so we're probably a bit below 1900 now. I wish I could have won that one since it was this close, but, you know, it shows it's a testament to why my opponent was so highly rated as he was. So anyway, that's it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, leave a like if you did, and I shall see you tomorrow with another episode of Road to Ranked and Trainer Tip Tuesdays. Actually, there might be the Mega Lopunny team analysis, which will go up probably later tonight. So that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you next time. I hope you guys enjoy the team, and yeah, alright, peace.